Hey, Cancer. I need to talk to you about something really important that's coming through in the cards right now. I just sat down to do this reading for you, and the energy that's showing up is honestly quite intense. And honestly, a bit heartbreaking. This is about someone in your life who's going through something really difficult. And the cards are showing me that this person is at a breaking point. So let me get into this because there's a lot here that you need to understand. Before I even pulled the first card, I could feel this heavy energy around someone who's been putting up a front for way too long. You know when someone keeps saying they're fine, but you can just tell they're not? That's exactly what's happening here. This person has been wearing a mask, pretending everything is okay when internally they're completely falling apart. And Cancer, the cards are telling me that this facade is about to crumble, or maybe it already has. The first card I pulled for you is the Seven of Swords. And this card is so telling right now. The Seven of Swords traditionally shows someone sneaking away with swords, someone who's been deceptive or not fully honest about what's going on. In this situation, it's representing someone who's been hiding their true struggles from everyone around them. This person has been taking a lot more on their shoulders than anyone realizes. They've been dealing with problems, pain and difficulties completely alone because they didn't want to burden anyone else, or maybe they were too proud to admit they needed help. What's really coming through with this Seven of Swords is that this person has been strategic about their deception. It's not malicious, understand that. This is someone who's been carefully managing what they show to the world versus what they're actually experiencing internally. They've been selective about what they share, always deflecting when people ask how they're really doing. You might have noticed them changing the subject quickly when conversations get too personal, or they might make jokes to lighten the mood when things get serious. That's the Seven of Swords energy at work. The really significant thing about this card appearing first is that it's showing me this pattern is unsustainable. You can only keep up a false front for so long before the weight of it becomes too much. This person has been carrying not just their actual problems, but also the exhausting burden of pretending those problems don't exist. Imagine having to deal with something difficult and then also having to use energy to convince everyone you're perfectly fine. It's draining on a level most people don't understand until they've been through it. What I'm also picking up from the Seven of Swords is that this person might have convinced themselves they were protecting others by not being honest about their struggles. Cancer, you're naturally someone who cares deeply about protecting people you love, so you might understand this mindset. But what this person didn't realize is that this approach was actually isolating them more and more. When you don't let people in, when you don't share what you're really going through, you end up feeling completely alone even when you're surrounded by people who love you. The second card that came out is the Knight of Pentacles. And this is where things start to get really clear about who this person is and what they've been doing. The Knight of Pentacles is someone who's incredibly responsible, hardworking, and reliable. This is the person everyone depends on. This is the person who always shows up, who always follows through, who never complains about how much they're carrying. Sound familiar? This Knight of Pentacles energy tells me this person has built their entire identity around being the stable one, the dependable one, the one who has it all together. They're probably the person in their family or friend group who everyone calls when they need help. They're the one who's always there for others, always willing to listen, always ready to step up and solve problems. And because they've been so good at playing this role, nobody has stopped to ask if they're okay. Everyone just assumes they're fine because they always have been. What's really heartbreaking about the Knight of Pentacles appearing here is that it shows me this person has been working themselves into the ground. Knights are about movement and action, and Pentacles is about the material world, work, responsibilities, practical matters. This person has been pushing themselves relentlessly. They might be dealing with work stress, financial pressure, family obligations, health concerns, or all of the above. And they've been handling it all with this stoic determination that makes it look easy from the outside. But here's what the Knight of Pentacles is really revealing in this reading. This steady, reliable person is exhausted beyond measure. The Knight's horse is tired. The Knight is tired. They've been on this journey for so long without rest, without support, without anyone checking in to make sure they're okay. And now they're realizing they can't keep going like this. The pace they've been maintaining isn't sustainable, and their body, mind, and spirit are telling them they need to stop. I'm also seeing with this Knight of Pentacles that this person might have some pride issues when it comes to asking for help. Knights can be stubborn. They want to complete their quest alone, to prove they're capable, to show they don't need anyone. But that's exactly what's gotten them into this situation. They've been so determined to handle everything themselves that they didn't reach out when they should have. And now the situation has become so overwhelming that they literally cannot keep pretending anymore. The third card I pulled is the Nine of Wands. And Cancer, this card is showing me just how battle-worn this person is. The Nine of Wands depicts someone who's been through fight after fight, challenge after challenge, and they're still standing, but barely. They're wounded, they're tired, and they're looking over their shoulder because they're expecting the next blow to come at any moment. This is someone who's been in survival mode for way too long. What's really significant about the Nine of Wands appearing in this position is that it represents someone who's been defending themselves and their position for so long that they don't know how to stop. They've had to be strong for so long that being strong has become their default setting even when they're completely depleted. This person wakes up every day and puts on their armor even though they're running on empty. They keep their guard up even though they're desperate. For someone to see through it and force them to rest. The Nine of Wands is showing me that this person has been through multiple challenges, recently or over an extended period. It's not just one thing that's broken them down. It's been wave after wave of difficulties, and they've managed to stay standing through all of it until now. But there's a limit to human endurance, and this person is at theirs. They've used up all their reserves. They've pushed past what's healthy or sustainable. And their body and mind are now demanding that they stop. What I'm really picking up from this Nine of Wands is a sense of paranoia and hypervigilance. This person has been stressed for so long that they can't relax anymore. Even in moments when they should be able to rest, their mind is racing with worries and what-ifs. They might be having trouble sleeping because they can't shut off their thoughts. They might be snapping at people or withdrawing because they're so on edge all the time. This is what chronic stress does to a person. And the Nine of Wands is showing me this person is experiencing all of it. There's also something about feeling like they can't trust anyone with this Nine of Wands because they've been let down before or because they've had to handle so much alone. This person has developed a mentality that they can only rely on themselves. But that belief system is part of what's destroying them now. They need help desperately, but they don't know how to accept it or who to trust with their vulnerability. Now the fourth card comes out and it's the Eight of Swords. And this is where we see the breaking point clearly. The Eight of Swords shows someone who's trapped, bound, and blindfolded. This is someone who feels completely stuck with no way out. And Cancer, this is exactly what's happening to this person right now. They've reached a point where they feel paralyzed by their circumstances. They can't see a solution. They can't see a way forward. They feel trapped by their responsibilities, their problems, their own mind. What's really powerful about the Eight of Swords is that in the traditional imagery, the bindings are actually loose enough that the person could free themselves if they tried. The swords around them aren't actually a complete barrier. But they can't see that because they're blindfolded. This represents how this person's mental state is actually what's trapping them more than their actual circumstances. They've become so overwhelmed, so anxious, so depressed that they can't think clearly enough to see potential solutions or ways out. The Eight of Swords is telling me this person is experiencing some serious mental health struggles right now. This might be anxiety that's gotten out of control, depression that's settled in, or both. They might be having panic attacks, intrusive thoughts, or feelings of hopelessness. This is beyond just being stressed or tired. This is someone who needs professional help. And part of what the cards are saying is that this person is starting to recognize that themselves. What I'm seeing with this Eight of Swords is that this person feels ashamed of where they are right now. They're looking at themselves and thinking about how they used to be so capable, so strong, so together, and now they feel weak and broken. They're judging themselves harshly for not being able to just push through like they always have before. But what they don't understand is that you can't just push through certain things. Mental health struggles aren't a matter of willpower. This isn't a weakness. This is a human being who's been pushed beyond their limits and needs support. The really important message coming through with the Eight of Swords is that this person is starting to realize they need help and they're terrified. They're at that point where they can't deny their situation anymore, but they're scared of what it means to admit it out loud. They're worried about how people will see them. They're worried about being a burden. They're worried about losing the identity they've built around being strong and capable. But staying silent is literally killing them slowly, and some part of them knows that. The fifth card I'm holding is the Two of Cups, and this is actually a really hopeful sign in this reading. The Two of Cups is about partnership, connection, genuine support between two people. After all these cards showing struggle and isolation, the Two of Cups is telling me that this person is going to reach out, or someone is going to reach out to them. There's going to be a real, honest connection made where this person finally shares what they've been going through. What's beautiful about the Two of Cups appearing here is that it represents mutual respect and understanding. This isn't about someone pitying this person or judging them. This is about someone meeting them where they are with compassion and genuine desire to help. It might be a friend, a family member, a therapist, or even you, Cancer. But whoever this person is, they're going to create a safe space for this individual to finally be honest about their struggles. The Two of Cups is also showing me that this person is going to be surprised by how much better they feel once they open up. They've been carrying this weight alone for so long that they've forgotten what it feels like to share a burden with someone. When they finally let someone in, when they finally admit they're not okay, they're going to feel this huge sense of relief. It won't solve everything immediately, but it will be the first step toward healing. What I'm picking up from this Two of Cups is that this connection is going to help this person realize they're not alone and they're not as broken as they think they are. Sometimes when you're in the depths of struggle, you lose perspective on yourself. You think you're the only one who's ever felt this way. You think there's something fundamentally wrong with you. But when someone else looks at you with understanding and says they see you and they're there for you, it can shift something profound inside. The Two of Cups is also indicating that this person might start opening up to more than one person once they take that first step. Right now, they're completely closed off. But once they experience the relief of being honest about their struggles, they might start letting more people in. They might start building a support system instead of trying to be a fortress all alone. The final card in this reading is the Hermit, and this card is showing me the path forward for this person. The Hermit is about introspection, soul-searching, taking time away from the noise to figure out what's really going on inside. After this person admits they need help, after they make that connection we saw in the Two of Cups, they're going to need to do some real inner work. The Hermit is telling me this person needs to step back from their responsibilities for a while. I know that might sound impossible, especially given the Knight of Pentacles energy we saw earlier showing how much they take on. But this is necessary. This person needs time to rest, to heal, to figure out what brought them to this breaking point. They might need to take medical leave from work, step back from certain commitments, or create boundaries they've never had before. What's really important about the Hermit appearing as the final card is that it's showing me this person needs to get to know themselves again outside of their role as the responsible one, the strong one, the helper. They've lost touch with who they are as a person because they've been so focused on what they do and who they are for others. The Hermit's journey is about reconnecting with your authentic self, your inner wisdom, your true needs and desires. The Hermit is also indicating that this person might work with a therapist or counselor who can guide them through this process. The Hermit carries a lantern, and that lantern represents the wisdom and guidance that can light the way through dark times. This person doesn't have to figure everything out alone. In fact, having a professional guide them through processing their trauma, stress, and mental health challenges is going to be crucial for their healing. What I'm seeing with the Hermit is that this period of withdrawal and introspection is going to be transformative for this person. They're going to emerge from this with a completely different understanding of themselves, their limits, their needs, and what they want from life. They're going to learn that being vulnerable isn't weakness. They're going to learn that asking for help is actually courageous. They're going to learn that rest isn't laziness. All of these lessons are going to reshape how they move through the world going forward. The Hermit is also showing me that this person is going to develop much healthier coping mechanisms and self-care practices. Right now, they probably push through pain, ignore their needs, and run themselves into the ground. But through this Hermit period, they're going to learn to listen to their body and mind, to honor their limits, to take care of themselves the way they take care of others. So Cancer, let me bring all of this together for you. The cards are telling me that someone close to you is going through a serious crisis right now. They've been hiding their struggles behind a mask of strength and capability, but they're at a breaking point. They've been pushing themselves beyond healthy limits for too long, taking on too much, and refusing to ask for help. Now their mental and physical health are demanding they stop, and they're finally starting to admit to themselves that they need serious help. This person is feeling ashamed of their struggles and scared of being seen as weak, but they're also terrified of continuing on the path they're on. They know something has to change. The really important message here is that this person is going to reach out or be reached by someone who can truly support them. This connection is going to be the catalyst for them getting the help they need. And after that, they're going to go through a period of deep healing and self-discovery that will ultimately transform them in positive ways. If you recognize this person in your life, the cards are encouraging you to check in on them directly and honestly. Don't just accept surface-level answers about how they're doing. Let them know it's safe to be vulnerable with you. Let them know that needing help doesn't make them weak or burdensome. Your compassion and willingness to support them could be exactly what they need to take that first scary step of admitting they're struggling. And Cancer, if this reading is resonating because you're recognizing yourself in these cards, please hear this. You are allowed to not be okay. You are allowed to need help. You are allowed to rest. Being strong doesn't mean never breaking. It means having the courage to admit when you're broken and reaching out for the support you need to heal. You don't have to carry everything alone. There are people who want to help you, but they can't if you keep pretending you're fine. The future the cards are showing is one where this crisis becomes a turning point toward genuine healing and a healthier way of being. But that future requires honesty, vulnerability, and accepting help. This is the message coming through for you today.